Shipment 1v1s are all about spawn control. If you don't understand spawns, you'll always stay average. But once you master them, you dominate. In this video, I'll reveal the exact strategy I use to predict every spawn and abuse spawn traps. Whether you're a complete beginner or just an average player, this guide will help you play like a pro, instantly. And who knows, maybe even take down players like Cisco, Ganeth, Dazi, or Zeke. Before we jump into the advanced strategy, let's first break down how spawns actually work in Shipment. If you already understand spawns, feel free to skip ahead to the next part. But if you don't, I highly recommend you watch this part, because once you truly understand spawns, everyone versus one becomes 10 times easier. Alright, let's break down how spawns actually work on Shipment. First, let's split this entire map into 4 zones. Now that we've divided Shipment into 4 zones, here's how the spawns actually play out. Players usually spawn on opposite diagonals, for example, player 1 in this zone, and player 2 in the diagonal zone across from them. The spawn logic works like this. When player 1 eliminates player 2, the game will respawn player 2 based on player 1's position at that moment. So, let's say, player 1 is standing here, and player 2 got killed. If player 2 taps to respawn, the game places him right over here. This same spawn logic applies to all 4 zones, but things get really interesting in the middle zone. This is where infinite spawn traps can happen. Imagine this, player 2 loses a gunfight here. Before he respawns, player 1 shifts into this position. That forces player 2 to respawn right here. If player 1 instantly pushes forward, kills him on spawn, and then resets back to the original spot, this time the game will respawn player 2 right here. And the cycle repeats. Congratulations, you've just learned not only how spawns work, but also how to chain them into spawn traps. But here's the catch. If player 1 keeps repeating the same movement, it becomes predictable. Player 2 will be ready and might take him out right here. That's why pros don't just run the same pattern over and over. Instead, you can use the side angles to make the trap less obvious and much harder to counter. Now let's say player 2 gets taken out during a gunfight here. If player 1 stays on this side, it forces player 2 to respawn right over here. And if player 1 stays on this side, it forces player 2 to respawn right over here. This is another way to restart the trap, but personally, I don't recommend relying too much on this second method. The same spawn mechanics work on the opposite sides of the map, but here's why top players prefer this specific side. The enemy respawns completely exposed, giving you a clean shot every time. On the other side, spawns have more cover, which means your opponent is protected while you're wide open. Of course, no strategy works overnight. You'll need to play dozens of 1 versus 1s to build the muscle memory, that automatic reaction where your fingers move faster than your thoughts. Once it becomes instinct, that's when you start playing like a pro. Now that you understand how the spawns and traps work, let's move on to the part that really matters. The simplest, easiest, and most effective strategy beginners can use to turn these mechanics into their serious advantage. Most YouTubers just show how it works, but not how to use it in-game. This video is uncut, and I'll show you exactly what to do in a real match. Focus on the map. Here I didn't wait. I predicted the spawn and moved early to control it. I checked for a split second, and when he wasn't there, I instantly shifted to the next spawn. Watch this bullet. My prediction was spot on. He was right there. didn't respawn, so I positioned myself right in this zone of the map. I didn't check if he respawned, so I just went with the normal method, checking every spawn one by one. And that's a wrap for today's guide. Of course, I won this match, but I won't show you the full gameplay. I respect your time, and I want you to focus on the lessons. Keep practicing, and one day, you might just be the one taking down big names like Cisco, Ganeth, Dazi, or Zeke in 1v1s. Until then, keep grinding, and peace out.